How are you?
I'm alright, Ellie. How's you?
Yeah, good, thank you. So before we talk about what you've got planned for this year, just look back at, obviously, you're now 2-0 as a pro. So just talk to me about what you've sort of learnt from the last two fights that you've had.
The first fight, I wouldn't really say I learned a lot. It was 30 seconds. He didn't throw any punches back. So then going into the second fight, I had a lot to learn. I went the full 6 rounds. I learned that no one's just going to fall over straight away. And it was my first time doing 6 rounds as well, so I learned I could do the rounds on the night under the lights, and it's put me in good stead for this year.
Yeah, because getting those 6 rounds under your belt after your pro debut, when it was over in the first 30 seconds, as you say, was that the plan, that you wanted to try and get some rounds under your belt?
The plan's never to really go out there and try and blast them out in the first round. The plan's to go, we've got a tactics to break the opponent down, to beat the opponent, and to be what's used on a night. I kind of did make the mistake of going in there and trying to blast him out, because I thought, he's not going to take these shots all night, but they do. And it was what I learned after the second round. I started using my brain, enjoying the performance, and that's when it all started coming together.
Obviously, it was, up in the northeast, so you had a lot of fans there. How did you find that experience?
Being in the amateurs for the last few years, I've always boxed abroad, Russia, Slovakia, all them kind of countries, So to be able to box in front of my home fans, it was good to be able for them to be able to enjoy it in the flesh, to see me actually box and perform, and then to see my family and everything afterwards and celebrate, and that was great.
And obviously, you're part of the MTK Performance Centre gym, so you're training alongside top boxers. We've got Josh Taylor, for example, in the gym, and you've also got the McCormack twins, who have also signed with Probellum.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about how it is training in this environment with everyone.
Training with everyone on the level that we're training at, it's everything a fighter wants, picking up experience, learning every day. Good crack in the gym as well. Everyone's good lads. We all get on, so we all push each other even further. And it's just how it should be in a boxing gym. It shouldn't be anyone dragging each other down or anything. We all push each other on, keep each other motivated, and trying to get to where we want to be.
Yeah, because Pat and Luke McCormack from back home.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've come down here. What's it like with the dynamics of all living in the... Do you live together down here?
Yeah, so there's 2 different houses. We all kind of live in the 2 houses together, but I'll stay anywhere, me. I'm not really bothered. Boxing on Team GB, we all lived in the flats and everything together. All boxers all live together in the flats. So down here, it feels quite similar, but it feels a bit more like home down here as well.
How do you find it sort of living down here compared to being up, in the northeast? Do you find for your boxing it's what's needed? Yeah,
definitely. As soon as I turned pro, I knew I needed to move away from home, get somewhere where I've got nothing else to focus on but going to the gym, eat, train, sleep, and that's what you've got to be a world champion professional boxer, and so that's what I've done.
What was the thought process of choosing Ben Davison, Lee Wiley, Barry Smith? What was the sort of thought that actually move away from home and come to this particular gym?
To be honest, I got offered to come down here of Robert Kelby. He actually got me in touch with Ben to come down. So we came down, I'd done 2 weeks with him. I didn't try any other pro gyms. This was the first pro gym I've ever been to. And I came down here, done 2 weeks with him. He said he was happy to train with me. I was definitely happy to train with him. And come the February, we started full time.
What do you think you've learned? Obviously, boxing, you would have learned a lot in the gym and changed from amateur style to pro. But what do you feel like you've learned about yourself, sort of in the process of going from amateur to pro and training down here?
I think I've learned a lot. I've matured a lot since I've moved. I obviously moved away from home and that. Grew up quite a lot, but mainly just as a boxer, I've came on a lot. I knew when I come down here there was a lot to learn. Before I came down, I was a bit blinded to the pros. So when I came down and I'd done my first session here, I thought, well, I've got a lot to learn. I'm going to have to train hard, put the work in, and because I've just got a lot to learn,
And are you learning from your stable mates here? The likes of Josh Taylor, and you've got Lee Wood and Lee McGregor. Are you watching them and seeing what they're doing?
Yeah, I always watch the other boys train, because you can pick up a lot from watching as much as you can from the training yourself. So if I'm watching what they're doing, picking up little bits from there, picking up bits from there, and if I can just take 1% from everyone, 1%, then that's just going to help me build and get better as a fighter.
And if we look ahead to sort of this year now and what you've got sort of coming up, your next fight, you're fighting back in Newcastle in March. What is the plan for this year? What are you wanting? You've got 2 pro fights under your belt now. So what are you looking ahead to?
I just want to stay as busy as possible. I'm not really looking past the 25th of March. So I've fully focused on that, but I just want to stay as busy as possible, get the experience, building up the rounds, and just keep pushing on.
What did your team say, obviously, about the fact that you got the 6 rounds under your belt now? Has that changed things going forward, stuff you learned from that? Because after your pro debut, it must have been difficult going back into training, thinking, got to almost do it again, because you must not have had much time to learn anything.
No, to be honest, I live in the gym anyways, so it's not like, oh, I'm coming back in the gym to get ready again. Like, I always stay ready. But getting them 6 rounds in, it's only put me mentally better to know I can do it on the night. It's good doing it in the gym, you know, spar 10 rounds in the gym, no problem. But under the lights on the night, it's a different story altogether. So it's good to be able to do it on the night and know I can do it.
What's the experience of, being with Probellum and fighting on their show? What was that like?
Oh, it was class. They built me like I was a star, on the night. I walked out on the stage. The place was packed out for me. I went wild. So, no, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Did you feel pressure, the fact, you sort of home fans, televised? How did you feel? Did you feel the pressure? Were you excited? What did you feel
I was excited. I wanted to put on a show, but I don't really feel pressure from the crowd, I'm more thinking I want to impress my corner. I want my corner to say that I box well, because the crowd's there just to support, But I want to impress my corner, let them know I box well, let them know I follow their tactics, and obviously I wanted my opponent to know that I've done a job on him as well.
Yeah, because you're only 22, so you are still quite young. Do you feel like everything's happened at the right time? You're quite young to turn pro. Is it all just working out in the right time frame for you?
Yeah, I think everything's worked out at the right time for me. When I got to 18, I won the 18 European Championships. Then I got into Team GB, and that's normally the kind of ages where people fall off. I got into Team GB, so I thought, I'm going to do this as a career. And then the Olympics was cancelled in 2020, so I turned pro, and I got the opportunity to train with Ben straight away. And it's just all working together. So, yeah, I think it's destiny, but you've still got to work at it, But I think what's meant to be will be. I think I'm meant to be a world champion. I definitely think I'm meant to be a world champion, but that doesn't mean it's guaranteed, You've got to work for it.
So obviously, your goal in your career is to be the world champion. That's most boxers' goal. In terms of training and what you're doing, what do you find is the hardest thing? The fact that you're away from home, or the training, the dieting. What is it that's most challenging for you?
I hate dieting. I love my food, but yeah, probably.
Do you struggle on fight? Do you struggle to make weight on fight week?
Not really too bad.
Oh,
nah, not too bad. But I don't like dieting. I love training. I'd sit in the gym all day and train, watch the boy train. I love the training. Being away from home and my brothers and my family and that, that's quite tough. But I live with my mates down here, so it's all good. I just love it.
What do you think the best thing is about sort of being a pro boxer and the situation you're in?
Being able to do what I love, like they say as a job. I don't really call it a job, but that's probably the best thing.
And before we finish, looking ahead now to 2022, what are we going to see from Mark Dickinson?
Some top class performances, definitely, and picking up some good experience as well.
Perfect.